I hate this stupid assignment my English teacher gave me. I'm supposed to write about a piece of art, but it doesn't even look like art. It looks like if a cat threw up and then a fish rolled in it and then that fish got run over by a truck and then they wrapped it in saran wrap.
Well, maybe that's what you should write about in your paragraph.
No, she'll give me an F. The teacher said it was her favorite art piece of all time.
Well, how about you sleep on it then? I always have found that I see things a lot clearer once I've had a good night's sleep.
Okay. Thanks, Mom. See you tomorrow. Where am I? What the heck?
Language, please. You're only a mere child.
Who are you? Where am I? What's going on here?
Why, I'm the bearer of the Count of Orgaz, a famous piece by the beloved artist El Greco. I'm going to give you a little history lesson. In fact, all the art pieces in this dream will. Now let me start the tour and tell you a little bit about myself and my artist. El Greco was a Greek painter, sculptor, and architect of the Spanish Renaissance. His painting, Myself, is a depiction of a popular local legend of his time beginning in the 14th century. I was considered by many to be one of the most beautiful religious paintings of all time. I illustrate the legend that when the Count of Orgaz was buried, St. Stephen and St. Augustine descended from the heavens and buried him with their own hands. El Greco was born and raised in Crete and was trained as a Byzantine icon painter. He settled in Toledo, Spain in 1577 and lived there until his death in 1614 to work for the Spanish King Philip II. Spanish King Philip II's support was undoubtedly helpful towards Greco's success in Toledo. Greco's wealthy upbringing allowed him to receive training as a Byzantine icon painter in his youth, allowing him to have the initial skill to work for the King Philip. Greco's talent, while extremely impressive and impactful, was made to be remarkable by his exceptional opportunities throughout his life.
I am the painting The Oath of Arashai, and I depict a Roman legend about two warring cities. The legend and thus myself are intended to demonstrate the importance of patriotism. I was painted by Jacques-Louis David, an artist from the neoclassical era with a new political approach to art. David used his radical influence as an artist to express his strong-leaning political opinions. During the French Revolution, David's artwork showed strong political conviction. He was commissioned by Napoleon Bonaparte to create artwork that depicted contemporary history in a biased way, which essentially became the political propaganda which David produced for Napoleon, such as the famous Bonaparte visiting the plague victims of Jaffa. Oh.
Bonjour, c'est moi! As you can see, David painted the actual 1799 event when General Bonaparte made a visit to his sick soldiers. I was meant to quell rumors that Bonaparte had ordered the poisoning of 50 incurable plague victims. David owes his success not just to his talent, but to the striking political inclination of his work. David's willingness to produce political propaganda for those who supported him demonstrates that he truly owes his success not only to his talent, but to his ability to produce agreeable content.
Oh, hello, young dear. Welcome to the third class carriage by Henri Damier.
Hi.
Hi, would you like an apple?
Oh, that's all right. You keep that for you.
Thank you, young girl.
Where are we?
We're on the third class carriage.
Wait, let me guess. This is realism.
Yes, you are a smart young girl. Realism is just as important as Romanticism is. They both spawned from the Enlightenment, but in very different directions. Well, realism wasn't inspired by Romanticism. Rather, it was more of an outcry trying to steer away from the Romantic era. They were tired of these unrealistic portrayals of life while so many people were suffering. So the realists tried to change that and portray life of how it actually was during that time period. Realists thought romantics were overly emotional and their paintings were unrealistic portrayals of life. They sought to paint the reality of life instead of nature and overly dramatic and dreamlike sequences. Unfortunately, Daumier's paintings did not get much of a notice overall. This was one of the few paintings he was commissioned to paint.
How? But it's so detailed and portrays real-life struggle.
Most of his works weren't noticed until after his death. He aspired to be a painter, but he constantly had to create prints in order to support himself. We were actually commissioned by William Thompson Walters, an American art collector, whose collection was so big it was turned into a museum after he died.
Oh, so it only really became famous so that some wealthy guy could critique it with his friends?
Basically, art would only become famous if it was held by somebody wealthy who had the means to show it off in their luxurious lifestyle. Artists couldn't stay poor because of the expenses and experience they needed to be taken seriously required funding.
That's so stupid. So art is just controlled by a bunch of wealthy people, and whatever they choose to throw money at, that's what society goes with?
Yep, you're starting to get it now.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our game show, Is It Art, or Did We Find It in Someone's Kitchen? Our first item will be this sensitive and delicate piece. Incredibly expressive. So what do you think, folks? Is it trash, or is it from the MoMA? Let's see what Cindy says. It is trash. Aww. I think Cindy may have found this in her very own trash can. And now for our second piece, which is, I'm not really sure what this is, but it looks like it could be either one. So let's see, folks. Is it art, or did we find it in someone's kitchen? Cindy? It is from the MoMA. From the MoMA. Okay. And for our third piece we have, it could either be art from the MoMA or some scribbles on a paper by an unsupervised child. Let's see, Cindy. It is from the MoMA. From the MoMA. Incredibly expressive. All right, folks, that's all we have today. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to come back for our next showing of Is It Art, or Was It Found in Someone's Kitchen? Sponsored by the MoMA.
Hey, I've seen this painting before when I flew out to Chicago for my cousin's wedding. But why is it so blurry? Why, it's pointillism. I was painted by making hundreds of little dots that form a big picture when all together. A Sunday afternoon on the island of the Grand Jet was created during the age of Impressionism by Georges-Pierre Seurat. Impressionistic art involves the artist capturing the image as if someone just saw a glimpse of it. They paint pictures with lots of bright and vibrant color, most of the paintings being outdoor scenes. Impressionism incorporated new scientific techniques, such as pointillism, into the colors to achieve a more exact representation of color and tone. Pointillism used paint in small touches of color rather than broad strokes and painted outdoors to catch color and light. This resulted in better quality of shading and more accurate picture. This painting must have taken a long time. It's so detailed. Seurat's work took about 2 years to complete, as I was created with contrasting miniature dots that, when looked at by the human eye, appear to be a single shade. Seurat thought this technique would make my colors more vibrant than standard strokes. Well, Seurat was right. I love your vibrant colors. Thank you, that means a lot. Oh, wow! I think I know this painting. This is Van Gogh's Starry Night, right?
Yes, little girl. I'm the famous Starry Night. I love my adoring fans. I was painted in the post-impressionistic era by the absolute genius Vincent van Gogh. Post-impressionist artists extended impressionism by breaking its limitations. They were more inclined to emphasize geometric forms, distort form for expressive effect, and use unnatural or arbitrary colors. Van Gogh painted me, Starry Night, thinking of the view out of the window of his asylum room. The painting is set just before sunrise in front of a village. Van Gogh painted this view at least 21 other times. However, I was the only one painted during the night. Van Gogh was also notorious for his many mental health issues which he suffered from throughout his life. One of the most popular stories about the artist is when he cut off his own ear after a fight with a friend.
Well, at least he got famous for that too. I bet it helped his career. Who are you?
From the scream! Surely you must have seen me before!
Oh, wait, I think I do recognize you. I guess I was too busy being scared earlier.
I'm one of the most famous paintings ever painted. I was painted during the Expressionist movement, which occurred in Germany in the early third of the 1900s. Expressionism emerged as a response to widespread anxiety about the increased conflict in the world and humanity's feelings of lost authenticity and spirituality. Expressionist artists often employed swirling, swaying, and exaggerated brushstrokes in the depiction of their subjects. These techniques were meant to convey the emotional state of the artist reacting to the anxieties of the modern world. Painter Edvard Munch, my creator, expressed himself through techniques such as distortion and exaggeration. Throughout his artistic career, Munch focused on scenes of death and agony in his portraits. In 1892, the Union of Berlin Artists invited Munch to display his works in the Union's first solo exhibition. The painting on view created so much controversy due to the radical color and dark subject matter that the exhibition was prematurely closed. Munch capitalized on this wave of negative publicity, and his career flourished as a result.
Whoa! Talk about a squad! Les Demoiselles d'Avignon was painted by the famous Pablo Picasso. Picasso's father was a painter, so from a young age Picasso was groomed to become a great artist. Picasso's first teacher was his father, but he began formally studying art at the age of 11, enrolling in the best art education his family could afford. It sounds like Picasso was destined to be a great artist. No wonder he's so famous. Yes, Picasso's background certainly helped him rise to fame. He grew up in an environment that encouraged creativity. This led him to create new works and styles that revolutionized the world of art. Picasso's Les Demoiselles d'Avignon was painted in the style of Cubism. In Cubism, artists abandoned perspective and turned away from the realistic modeling of figures. Cubists let space flow through their figures and objects, blending backgrounds into foreground and showing objects from various angles. Les Demoiselles d'Avignon initially shocked the art world. Nude women was not in itself unusual, but the fact that Picasso painted the women as prostitutes in aggressively sexual postures was novel. The faces of the three women, which were rendered as mask-like, suggested that their sexuality was not just aggressive but also primitive. Picasso's presentation of the work was also radical. For instance, the body of the standing woman in the center is composed of angles and sharp edges. The use of a flattened plane and geometric shards were a first in art. Fortunately, due to Picasso's style, his style became popular and since then has shaped all aspects of art today. Is this it? Is this a joke?
Hey, don't talk like that. I'm one of the most famous Suprematism works.
But even I could paint something like this. This can't be real art.
That may be true, but sometimes art isn't about the technicality. Sometimes it's about the feelings behind it.
What? I guess I never really thought about that. I only like art if it's good.
But what defines good? Let me tell you a little bit about myself before you decide what you think of me. Suprematism was an art movement founded in Russia during the First World War. Its name derived from Belavich's belief that suprematist art would be superior to all art of the past. The suprematists believed in the idea that art could serve to make the world fresh and strange, and that art could make us look at the world in new ways. Suprematism work concentrated on the exploration of geometric shapes and their relationships to each other in space. rich color was discarded in favor of black and white. Belovich's The Back Square became the centerpiece of Suprematism. The piece depicts the purely abstract shape of the black square, painted before the white background. For the artist, the square represented feelings and the white, nothingness.
Wow. I guess I never really thought to look at art that way.
That's right. You must remember that in art there is no good or bad. It all depends on how the individual sees the work. Art can be defined by anything that draws an emotional response from the reader. Remember that art's not limited to the different criteria that one may think qualifies it. The standard for assessing the quality of Suprematist work became the character of the artist's feelings rather than an analysis of the composition.
Finally, a place to rest. Oh,
Stop! What do you think you're doing?
I'm tired. I was just taking a seat.
Can you tell that I'm
Oh.
priceless art?
Oh,
I'm the famous red blue chair.
oh. I don't know what that is.
I'm the famous red blue chair by Distill artist Gert Rietveld. Rietveld envisioned a chair that played with and transformed the space around it. Every color, line, and plane is clearly defined and interact in unique ways. The Netherlands-based Distill movement embraced an abstract aesthetic focusing on a basic visual elements such as geometric forms and primary colors. Distill took a new approach to art making that stripped away traditional elements of art such as perspective and representation, instead only using a series of primary colors and straight lines.
Hi. Hello?
Oh, hello, young visitor.
I was told that you could tell me something about Dada.
Oh, I am Dada.
Okay, but what is Dada?
What isn't Dada?
Okay, you're not really helping me out here, bud.
Okay, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am Hugo Ball, creator of the sound poem Karawane. I performed Karawane with my group in the Cabaret Voltaire, where the first expression of Dada art is considered to have been taking place in October of 1916 as a reaction to World War I. I'm a performance piece composed by a language made of nothing but nonsensical noises. Critics at first said Karawane was nothing more than a bunch of grotesque monkey shrieks.
Well, you do kind of sound like...
But they didn't understand. They still don't. But now they love me. In fact, I am one of the most recognized Dada pieces in history. The point of Dada was to express the artist's outrage at the war occurring around them. Society hated the crude and often upsetting pieces that the Dadas produced, only adding to the fuel of the Dada flame. Dadaists didn't care that people thought they were awful. They weren't trying to please the masses. They were trying to bring something different into the world instead.
Hey, are you the...
I'm the Golden Marilyn.
Well, I was wondering if you could tell me about...
I'm the Golden Marilyn.
You said that already.
Did I? That was silly of me.
You're kind of weird. I don't think the real Marilyn was like this.
That's the point, kid. Andy Warhol took Marilyn Monroe's image and made it completely and utterly reproducible, commercialized, canonized. It doesn't matter what the real Marilyn was like, not to society. All anyone sees is that she was beautiful and famous. And blonde.
Oh, well, that kind of sucks for her.
That's real cute, kid. But this is the best thing that could have happened to her. Her face is on everything nowadays. She's an icon. She's an entire time period. And all because of Andy Warhol and pop art. That's the power of art. That's what it can do.
But she doesn't even get a choice?
Look, kid, she's famous. What more could she want? Just like Andy Warhol is famous and has been elevated to the status of icon. What does anyone really remember about Warhol except that he made these soup cans, wore a blonde wig, and liked Marilyn Monroe? Just like his art, society has turned Warhol into nothing more than an icon of modernity, focusing only on his facades and appearances. The world ate up the images Andy Warhol created, both in the artistic sense and of himself. Andy Warhol is proof that it doesn't matter what you do so much as who you are, and if your reputation doesn't shine brighter than your art, why should anyone care about you at all? So who's to say if there's anything truly astonishing about me, or the soup cans, or anything else that Warhol created, or if the astonishing part is that the world bought what Warhol was selling and has yet to look back at the receipt.
It seems like all of this art is just defined by what a few rich individuals thought about it. Of all the paintings and art pieces I've talked to, the only ones that ended up successful were the ones that conformed to those willing to pay for them. It just seems so stupid. Is there any art that hasn't been made to fit the mold of entitled few?
Yes, there is. You just wouldn't know about it because these aren't the pieces that our society throws money at. Like everything in life, art can be defined in a million different ways. Unfortunately, it is only a select few who have done the defining since history began, but no longer. You, kid, are the future of this world, and you get to choose what speaks to you. Not what speaks to some sap with a well-combed mustache or some lady with a checkbook the size of Manhattan. Not what some random collector decides is chic or cool, but what you make a connection with.
For too long, art's most important function, as another tool of the human race to express thoughts and ideas, has been second to the rules of aesthetic. People go to modern art museums and see nothing but waste, the excrement of eccentric minds sold for billions. Some of it is waste, yes, but some of it is so much more. Ignore the money bags, ignore the pretty colors, ignore the pieces that can only be described as glorified wall decorations, and find the life in art. Art in the streets, art doodled on the side of your classmate's notebook, the art hidden throughout your life. It's there, I promise.
You may have also noticed that all of the paintings that you have met were created by European or American men. Just as money was a factor in the success and popularity of artwork, gender and race surely played a role as well. It's no coincidence that every piece mentioned was made by some famous white guy. Do not think for a second that this is because only men can be successful artists. Rather, history has favored men in art for centuries.
Although there have been some exceptions to this rule, especially in today's world, like Frida Kahlo, a historical study of art in the modern world practically excludes women as a whole. People of color are also absent from this list. This butchered, doctored, sterilized version of art history is what most of the teachers you will encounter will teach you to accept. Do not accept it.
Find the people who have been cut out of the picture and make the world see the art of all people, not just the people who happen to have been born French and a boy. Art is a field in which every single person, whether or not they speak the same language, whether or not they hold the same beliefs, can share. Art is what makes us human. Art is more than the price tag one white man places on a piece. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise, kid.
Good morning, Jessica. Time for school. Have you thought about what you're going to write your paragraph on?
Yeah, and I don't think it looks like a dead animal anymore.
What does it look like?
Like the most beautiful piece of art I've ever seen. We may have lots of trash bags, but our mock certainly isn't.
We're not trash.
I mean, that's debatable.
Here it is. Ooh la la. Ooh la 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 la. I'm so tired.
I've ever seen. So not you. You're really ugly, Mom.
You suck! I'm so nice to you!
Oh God, this again. Go down. This accent is terrible. It's just so. R.I.P. France. Okay, whatever. Wilkie doesn't even like France.
I cannot. Let me just step over the dead body on your floor. She's just laying there.
Okay.
Thumbs up, but I can't really.
Okay, this is what the lighting looks.
It doesn't matter what the real Marilyn was like, not to this.
Dun 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 dun.
That's okay.
Do it, girl.
Fly away! Flap those wings!
Don't ever come back because if you do, you're still gonna have to get your Woolstonecraft essay.